Hey friends, welcome to NostalgAK. I'm Jimmy Gaddis, coming to you from the great state of Alaska. If you previously watched my top 5 catchphrases of the 80s, which you can find right here, you would know that my number 1 catchphrase was...
Number 1.
Where's the beef?
Where's the beef? The catchphrase that boosted sales at Wendy's by 31% in 1984. But you might recall that campaign only lasted 1 year. So if you're like me, you're thinking, well, why? Why put the brakes on a good thing that's making you a ton of money? As the LA Times put it in 1985, it turns out there was some beef over spaghetti sauce. Wendy's took issue with its leading lady after her on-screen appearance in a pasta sauce commercial. Scandalous indeed. Now, before we take a look back, I'm going to ask that you take a moment right now to subscribe so you'll know when new content comes out that's going to make you feel nostalgic for the 80s and early 90s. Okay, quick background on the Where's the Beef campaign before I show you how it all sadly fell apart. 1984, 80-year-old manicurist Clara Peller is discovered by a marketing executive and scores a lead role in a Wendy's commercial. In it, Clara and 2 other ladies are wowed by the size of the competition's buns.
It certainly is a big bun. It's a very big bun.
And they assume a big slab of beef would be sandwiched inside. But as a tiny patty, small piece of cheese, and slice of pickle are revealed, Clara delivers her line.
Where's the beef?
Those 3 words would skyrocket her to stardom.
Where's the beef?
The popularity of those commercials led to appearances on talk shows, a visit to New York City Hall, an invitation to be a guest timer at WrestleMania 2. There was a slew of merchandise, a music single,
And that's when she started to yell,
Where's the beef?
and profits for Wendy's up 24% over the previous year.
When you drive to Wendy's and order a single, you get more beef than the Whopper or the Big Mac.
Wendy said it was preparing to offer Clara a 3-year contract that would have paid her 6 figures a year. And then Clara appeared in a commercial for Prego Plus spaghetti sauce.
I found it.
Real beef. It's in there in new Prego Plus spaghetti sauce with beef and onions.
I really found it.
So what's the big deal? They don't make fast food burgers. It's not a conflict of interest. Or was it? You see, Clara rose to fame with Wendy's by asking the question, where's the beef? Those saucy marketers with Prego, owned by Campbell Soup Company, looked to take advantage and ride the coattails of Wendy's success. They hired Clara and had her answer the question.
I finally found it.
She wanted to know where the beef was, and now she found it.
Boy, did I find it.
Clara never actually mentions beef, that's left to the announcer, but anyone not living under a rock knew exactly what she was referring to, and Wendy's executives did not like it, saying, Clara can only find the beef at one place, Wendy's. She is finding the beef at Wendy's, and in spaghetti sauce, and somewhere else. It gets very confusing for consumers. Clara's 3-year contract was terminated for violating a non-compete clause. In a statement, Clara said she found the timing suspicious since her lawyers were in negotiations with Wendy's over what she claimed was the company's unauthorized use of her name. The statement goes on to say, this is a smokescreen to avoid a lawsuit. It's a cruel trick to play on someone who's helped bring millions of dollars to the company. Wendy's pointed out that Clara fared pretty well during the Where's the Beef campaign and made $500,000 from commercials, promotions, and personal appearances. Clara claims it was far less, in the tens of thousands. There seems to be no definitive answer here that I could find. Peller would pass away a few years later in Chicago at age 85, but would live on as the face of one of the most memorable TV commercials of all time. So for what it's worth, as much as I adore Clara and love the Where's the Beef commercials, I did initially side with Wendy's in their decision to let her go. Not initially as in when I was 6 years old back in 85, but over the past week while I was doing the research. I felt like their idea was being tampered with. You know, you can't do it. If you're in Wendy's commercials, you can't be messing around with their catchphrase or anything similar to it. But then again, I looked at the numbers, Wendy's numbers after Clara's departure, and thanks to a combination of factors, including a failed breakfast menu and Clara-less television ads, 20% of Wendy's stores were near bankruptcy by December of 1985. So maybe it wasn't the best decision. So what do you think? Was Wendy's in the right to let her go? over a pasta sauce commercial? Let me know in those comments, and give this video a like if you enjoyed this trip down memory lane and are now feeling nostalgic for some mid-80s fast food greatness. And a big thank you to everyone who commented on my top 5 catchphrases of the 80s video. Your comments entered you to win an 11x14 Boba Fett toy photo print. This one right here that I took in Alaska. It's called Boba Blending In, as the colors of the landscape and Boba were all in unison that day. It's one of my absolute favorites and is going to HJH0228, who said, "Good one. Hadn't thought about You Can't Do That on Television in a long time." Congrats. I feel like everyone should be thinking about You Can't Do That on Television when we're talking about the 80s. Such a great show. If you haven't yet, stick around and watch my top 5 catchphrases of the 80s. Just give it a click right there. And subscribe for more content that's going to make you feel nostalgic for the 80s and the 90s. I'm Jimmy Gaddis. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you soon.